Hello everyone, thank you for joining us today. My name is Jude McCann and I work for the Farming Community Network. I'm joined here today with a fellow Nuffield Scholar Teresa Meadows. Teresa, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for the invite.
Today we're talking about a new project between FCN, Nuffield Farming Scholarships Trust and Focus Farmers, which is supported by Garfield West Foundation. And the overall theme is about looking to the future in our industry. How can we stay strong and resilient in both our businesses, but also in our own personal situations. Also planning ahead for the next few months or the next few years as we enter a period of major restructuring in the industry is a key focus of today's chat. So Teresa, thank you for joining us. Maybe you could just tell us a bit about yourself and your scholarship with Nuffield.
Yeah, so as you said, Teresa Meadows, and I work for HDB as a knowledge exchange manager in our cereals and oilseeds team covering the East Anglia region. And so my work involves taking HDB research and putting that back onto farm. So running a series of events, business groups, technical kind of information sharing, and a whole series of things around that. So very much working with farmers on that level. And that's been my background for a number of years, working with Natural England and water companies and in the area of farm advice in the environment, water and arables. So the opportunity to do a Nuffield scholarship came on the back of that, and decided to take that opportunity to link the kind of trail of where we're going with the areas that we're working in at the moment. So fortunate to have had the opportunity to do a Nuffield scholarship, a different year to be awarded a global travel scholarship, but we've embraced the virtual world and the opportunities that Nuffield brings to do that. So I'm looking at integrated pest management, and particularly how we can encourage farmers to do more of that in the arable sector. A lot of good practice there at the moment, but my travels and findings are showing us that, yeah, there's possibly even more we can do, and how we can work to increase that.
Fantastic, Teresa, and good luck with the rest of your research. And I'm sure you're looking forward to a time that you are able to get out and about and travel a bit more. 2021 marks a big change for us in UK agriculture. What would you say are some of the opportunities for our industry going forward?
I think, yeah, like you say, there's big change ahead. Some of that's known, some of that's unknown, but we're used to dealing with that within the farming industry. I think some of the kind of themes of what we're going to do going forward, that need for passion and energy in what we do, that attention to detail is often a theme that comes through in many of what we do and look at. And actually, if you can find things where you do enjoy it and where you do like it and where you can see that going forward, then you will make a success of it in any way. That kind of business mindset, whether that's farming for the environment, whether that's farming for high yields, farming for profit, knowing what drives you, will do that. But also that we've got a really interested group of people out there, an interested consumer base, an interested group of people, in the environment, that care about the countryside. And I think we'll be able to build on that with the opportunities, the public money for public goods, some of the environmental measures that are coming through from government. I think it might be a shift from what we've known and what we've done to date, but I think it's one to be embraced as we go forward.
Okay. And for those farm businesses and farm families that are going to have to change and adapt quite significantly over the coming years, what advice might you give them, Teresa?
So with the particular group we were working with recently, they said the sign of a good business person, or the sign of somebody that is able to adapt and change, is someone that is good at measuring what they do, and whether that's measuring results, measuring kind of KPIs, measuring finances, measuring your soils and your worms, measuring how many people walk on your footpaths. It's a good kind of baseline to go to, something to work towards, and set some goals and aspirations based on that. But the other thing I think really, and something that links a lot of the things that we're talking about today, whether that's FCN, whether that's change, whether that's Nuffield scholarships, is people. And I think actually there's a lot we can do to learn from others. It's a big part of my role to bring people together, to share that knowledge between people. And to kind of keep talking, I suppose, in terms of, you know, what we're doing going forward, whether that's within your family, with your friends, within your networks. You know, if you don't know someone that is doing something that you're doing, you know, just shout, there's many of people like me, or come to me, and use that kind of power of knowledge and exchange of that going forward.
Fantastic. Tell us a little bit about then your role as an FCN volunteer. How long you've been involved with our charity, and what does your role entail?
So yeah, it's a number of years now. I haven't worked out how long, with FCN, based in Essex, but more through what I've done is as a volunteer on the helpline. So it's a national helpline, and as volunteers we do a little shift between us, so that the helpline's managed all day, every day. And that involves taking calls from people for a whole variety of situations from across the country, and then putting them in touch with the relevant people, whether that be somebody regionally can assist, whether that be someone just to talk to, whether that's somebody that can help in terms of financial, in terms of speaking to the RPA, in terms of, you know, mental health support. So I really, you know, it's I find it a real privilege, and that's a strange thing to say, but you know, it's often there. It's quite a grounding thing to do, and I'd say that, you know, never feel afraid to ring, because people have rung about all sorts of things, and that people are there to help, whatever that might be, and whether it's for you or for someone else. And on a call recently, it was for someone else that was in need, and you know, what advice and support is out there for them. I have done a bit of fundraising, ran a half marathon last year. It was my lockdown goal, and yeah, that was one of the things that I've done for FCN, and you know, just raising the awareness, I think, in the industry that there are people like charities and FCN that are there to help as well.
Brilliant, brilliant. And tell us, you mentioned there about mental health issues and people contacting us on the helpline. We've actually seen a significant shift in the last few months where that is the #1 presenting issue on the helpline, is around mental health issues. Can you tell us, what do you do to look after your own mental health and your physical health? Obviously, you're a keen runner.
Oh, I don't know about keen. I like to do, to be honest, for me, I know it's going to sound cheesy, but being in the industry, we are, you know, for me, it's getting out and about, and there's nothing better than going out and being in the countryside. And I'm fortunate to live where I am, that I can do that, whether it's running along the river or seeing the birds in the morning, you know, and making time to do that. And I think when we live in a busy world, whether that's busy in a different way from the last few months, it's taking the time out, whether that's going for a walk, going for a run, going for a cycle ride, and just taking time to chat with friends and family as well. I think, you know, often it's shared experiences, you know, having a bit of fun, you know, and making time to do that is important, with alongside everything else that we have the responsibilities for.
Absolutely, good suggestions there. Given your experience as an FCN volunteer and also in AHDB, what role do you see an organisation like FCN having to play in the next 5 years, for example?
I think, like we said, that kind of support that FCN offers, you know, you might not even know that you need it, or somebody around you needs it, but to be able to pick up the phone, sometimes I think to somebody that doesn't know you or doesn't know the area, or, you know, is there, sometimes people, it's amazing the network of people that FCN are linked with, you know, like I say, whether that's, you know, straight line into the RPA to help where we can, or, you know, somebody that can advise on tax, or, you know, succession, or somebody that can just help out feeding a few cattle, you know. And I think FCN have got that kind of network of people locally that can have a chat, you know, whether it's just a one-off, just need to ring someone and have a chat, or somebody, you know, if you've got an elderly relative that needs someone to pop in, I say, you know, hopefully we'll be able to do that again one day, but, you know, pop in once a month and just have a conversation. It's a support there, and I think FCN's a great place to provide that, alongside the resources and keeping the awareness going within the industry of that personal side of what we do. We're good at talking technical often in farming, aren't we? But, you know, farming is a way of life, as we all say, and that personal side is really important.
Absolutely. Are there any initiatives or resources that you'd like to highlight that might be useful to support farmers, farm families over the coming months and years?
Like we say, you know, there's a wealth of information out there, aren't there? You know, FCN's own website, Farmwell that FCN runs, you've got huge resources on there, particularly for that personal resilience side. If you're going through bereavement or need kind of links to mental health resources or succession, or, you know, how do you get out and be fit and active, or, you know, thinking about business planning going forwards. Our own AHDB website has got a lot of information very relevant at the moment, the direct payments kind of calculator and working out how you reduce that. Technical resources, kind of business, looking at your business in more details with benchmarking, and then, you know, many others across the industry. I think it's out there. Sometimes it's the people though that can put you in touch with the right people or know where to look, and, you know, and that's why resources, myself and my colleagues on the ground, or, you know, phoning the helpline and just saying, where might I go to kind of get this, and getting somebody good that can often get you a long way further as well.
And Teresa, my last question just related to that then is, you know, for someone who's maybe watching this and maybe going through a difficult patch in their lives and thinking about picking up the phone to FCN but are reluctant to do so, or they think there's other people worse off than me and they don't want to hug the helpline, what would you say to people who are maybe in a stressful situation and need a bit of support?
I'd say just ring. You know, we have all sorts of people in all sorts of different circumstances, and, you know, no problem is ever too big or too small. There's someone to help. That old adage that a problem shared is a problem halved, you know, it certainly goes a long way, and people are genuinely there to help. You know, the people that are involved are all from the agricultural community, and so to a large extent, you know, have a background understanding of what you might be going through. Yeah, it's difficult, it's not easy, it's not a natural thing for many of us to do, but yeah, rest assured, hopefully it'll help you along the way, and, you know, it's the first step in a journey to improve it.
Brilliant, Teresa. Thank you very much for your time. Really good to talk to you today.
Thank you, Jude.